Israel Hayom Insider, I speak with columnist Annika Hernroth-Rothstein, who is writing a book about exotic Jewish communities in the diaspora. Annika, your last big journey was to Iran, and you were here, you spoke about it, it was a big hit, that video.
Yes.
This time, Cuba.
Right.
Why Cuba?
Well, it is a mysterious place. It's an exotic place. There are Jews there. I wanted to go now because Fidel just died. So I was kind of itching to go because I was expecting many things to be changing over the next couple of years after his death. And I wanted to know what it's like to be a Jew in Cuba, if the fact that it's, you know, a totalitarian regime, just as in Iran, if that influences the life and in what way and what kind of Jewishness they have there.
First of all, a little bit of background.
Yeah.
How many Jews are there?
Well, the statistics vary. So it's everywhere from 700 to 1,500 to some say as many as 10,000 if you count the Moranos that are there, because they've come in installments, and there are people from all over the world there because it is a place.
Ashkenazim and Sfaradim.
Yes.
Yep.
They've come for various reasons, but they all have that in common, that it was usually not their first choice or first destination.
All right.
But they've come by default. Yes.
Okay, and were you able to get into synagogues, in Jewish schools, Jewish homes?
I was in 2 synagogues. I was there. I was speaking to the Jews, as in many of these places, the places that are difficult on the outside, difficult to be a Jew in the streets for various reasons, or a person in the streets for various reasons. They congregate in the shul.
Is it difficult to be a Jew on the outside?
I would say not because you're a Jew. In Cuba is very special because there is basically no anti-Semitism. Life is miserable for everyone. So everyone is equally miserable.
That kind of reminds me of what you said about Iran.
It is. It was oddly similar. However, Jewish life was very vibrant and vivid in Iran.
Yeah.
That is not true for Cuba. This is an aging community where, you know, one of their many issues is that people are not having children. And that's true for all Cubans. It's the opposite of what, if you come to Israel today, you see a lot of pregnant women and a lot of buildings being built.
Right.
Like that's the
people
norm. People have faith in the future that there will be one and that it will be glorious. In Cuba, it is quite the opposite. People are not having babies, and definitely nothing is being built. So the issue is that the Jewish community is aging. It's aging out. And most of it left in the years prior to or right after the revolution. So one of the more interesting and saddening things was I asked the rabbi, you know, do people keep kosher? You know, the regular Jewish questions that you asked, is it difficult to keep kosher? And he said, no, that's not one of the difficult things because there is no meat.
There's no meat.
So there's no issue of kosher. You know, they get eggs and beans and rice from the government.
Wow.
And that's what they eat. So kashrut is not really.
Is there starvation or malnutrition in Cuba? How bad is the poverty?
Malnutrition, definitely. I would say that there are dual societies. There's a society within the society. So there's capitalism within this you know, official state of communism, which is very interesting.
Underground capitalism? Yes,
definitely. So that they survive on, you know, covert activity, bribes, the usual that goes on in a society where you have no freedom. People long for that. You know, it's a human instinct to be free and to try to get what you can for you and your family. There is a lot of prostitution, a lot of bribery. So there's no criminality, you know, there's no murder or robberies but it's, you know, a low-level, constant criminality going on within the society. There is malnutrition, but the reason I think there's not been a second revolution is because it's right there on the brink.
I see.
So it's not North Korea.
Yeah.
It's not Iran. But for many reasons.
Is that your next trip? The Jews of North Korea?
If I can, why wouldn't I?
But that's not for this book.
It's not for this book because from what I know, and I know very little of North Korea as much as anyone else, there are no Jews there. So that would be just for my own pleasure.
What does the future hold for the Jews of Cuba? What do you see them all leaving? Do they want to leave? Are they waiting for for the communism there to fall? What's going on?
Well, first of all, I don't see a revolution there. I don't see. One of the most surprising things was I came expecting to see a society like Poland or like Vietnam, you know, societies that have gone through a shift, and you can feel that it's becoming westernized. You can feel that there's a big shift coming on. That wasn't true for Cuba at all. I feel like it's business as usual. I feel like they are protecting the revolution in a way. despite hating it, they are still protecting the idea. They are protecting the revolution against the West and Western ideals. And I'm a person, as far as the Jews, who usually say that, oh, Jews are supposed to be allowed to live everywhere, and we're supposed to help them live anywhere and everywhere they want to be.
Right.
But as far as Cuba goes, this is a place where they just need to get out.
Yeah.
They just need, it's over, it's done.
And they think so also?
There's a definite drive to come to Israel. There's a drive to acknowledge your Jewish status and come to Israel. It's not for Zionist reasons.
No.
It is for survival reasons, I would say, for the ability to help
well, that's
you.
part of Zionism. I mean,
it's
not the whole, it's not all of Zionism.
Right, but it's more of a practicality, I would say, and that's true for all of Jewish life in Cuba today.
Could you speak to Cubans, Jews or non-Jews, about Israel?
I did. It wasn't as big an issue that I thought it would be. It didn't seem to be a dramatic. I mean, they have no official relationship, the two countries.
Okay.
But there doesn't seem to be any real animosity. It's not a. It's
just
not
an issue?
No, I don't feel that it is an ideological issue to the extent that it is in other countries that don't have a relationship to Israel officially. So it wasn't a problem. I could speak about Israel. They didn't care about the Palestinian issue. We didn't discuss none of these things existed that I expected them to.
Interesting.
So I would say that when you're in survival mode, I guess that's the hierarchy of needs kind of thing.
Yeah.
That they are thinking about getting food every day. That's the issue.
Yeah.
They are thinking about surviving every day. And politics comes a lot later. And that's also part of why there won't be a big shift or a big revolution, because as long as you keep your people right on the brink of starvation, they don't have the time nor the energy
to think about. But
the
island must be now overrun with tourists, right?
Oh, yeah, Americans.
Americans.
Yes.
So they've got this opening to the West. They can see that other people are living in different ways, and I guess they always knew that.
They knew that all the time. I think the reason, for example, that they don't have meat is because all the meat goes to the fancy hotels where the tourists are. And these worlds exist side by side, but not together. So
are the Jews also involved in the tourism industry? I mean, is that what people do there, or do they? Or
well, the Jewish community is 100% dependent on donations.
Really?
Because of course they are not given any money from the state, because it's just become allowed to be.
You're talking about Jewish institutions, right?
Right, the shul, shul. So, and that is what it is. Like, that is Jewish life, in essence. So they are dependent on people coming there. For example, American Jews coming there and giving them tzedakah. The issue is that before the opening toward the West, you had to get a special permit to come and visit the Jewish community.
So before 2015, when Obama opened relations with Cuba.
Right. Then you had to, fill out paperwork and say, I'm going to visit the Jews.
Yeah.
And that meant that a lot more money was flowing directly toward the Jewish community.
Okay.
And with the new opening toward the West, people come and they go salsa dancing, and then maybe they go to shul and just have a look around. And so there's much less money coming directly to the Jewish community, which means that it actually isn't helping the Jewish community at all. So it is the irony of they're damned if they do and damned if they don't, in a way.
Okay. Now one more question. Yes. When you arrived in Israel, it did not go smoothly.
Oh yes, for the very first time I was detained
at Ben Gurion Airport.
At Ben Gurion Airport.
Why were you detained?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I was asked if I knew why, and I said, I am a single woman who travels alone to a lot of strange places. So I said, I do understand that that would raise certain red flags. I was profiled. I was there for approximately 3.5 hours having long conversations with the border police about where I go and why and where I come from.
Interesting.
And
you couldn't just say, I'm a journalist, look me up, Google me.
I mean, I did.
You're kind of an open book on the internet.
I name dropped Israel Hayom so many times, and I'm shocked that it didn't do more for me. But it was, I told him I'm the least private person in the world. Please Google my name and please let me out of here. On the other hand, I am very happy to see that, because I don't feel like I'm the most suspicious person. So I'm glad that if I'm being pulled in, probably a lot of other people are being pulled in as well.
So you felt safer that way?
I mean, it's good to see the wheels turning, right?
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
The system is working.
Yes, the system is working, and I was there answering questions. I was, as always, hungry, wanting to like go get shawarma, and I was at the airport for 3.5 hours. So I was a little bit hungry and annoyed, but still very happy and proud that they're doing their job properly. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Annika, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you out of the airport and into the country.
Yes.
And next time, North Korea.
I'll be back to talk about it.
All right.
Hopefully.
And I want to thank the viewers, of course, for continuing to watch us, follow us, send us your feedback. We always like to get it. And we will see you next time.